want to talk about today was Christians and counseling or therapy. Have you had any experience with counseling or therapy before, babe?
No.
No, never? Do you feel like you've ever had a need for it?
Yeah, I would say so.
Really?
Yeah, there have been times for sure.
How do you know, like, when you need it?
I think that there are some situations that you just feel like keep you down, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and keep you in a rut.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like when it comes to our health, you may have a headache or something, and it's like bothersome. But if you had a headache for like 3 weeks, you need to get that checked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, there are some things that we perceive as maybe not being as bad. And it's like, even though we perceive it as not being as bad, it still bothers us all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably something you need to talk through with someone.
Yeah.
Now, in conjunction with that,
Mm-hmm.
there may be a time, using the previous example, where you fall and you hit your head on concrete.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, that is a traumatic situation.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to get that looked at and addressed.
Yeah.
Even if you feel fine.
Yeah.
And so there are times where we go through traumatic situations and events. And sometimes we feel it, and sometimes we don't.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be wise enough to know, even if I think I'm fine, I need to talk to someone and make sure I'm fine. I need to go to the doctor just to make sure I'm not bleeding through my brain and I can't see it, you know. And in that same way, go to a therapist to make sure I'm not mentally or with my heart suffering without recognizing it.
That's really good. So I did counseling back when I was in college. I want to say it was maybe for like a 3-month period. It seemed like it was about 3 months. And I would go once a week. And during that time of my life, I definitely kind of like ducked down and make sure nobody was looking at me whenever I went into like the student like health center, because I didn't want anybody to know that I was going for counseling. And I don't know why I had shame about that, you know. I didn't want to be seen for who I am. And it was somewhat helpful because I was able to talk through my problems, but I think the key ingredient that was missing was that person being a Christian and being spirit-filled, and them having the authority to actually speak into my life. So, like, that experience with counseling was okay, because I think what I needed most was somebody to really, like, snatch my life, like, get my life back together and speak truth into me. But I feel like during that season, I was listened to, but not really guided or coached, and that's what I really needed during that season in my life. Christians absolutely need counselors. Christians absolutely need therapy. I just believe that you need to find a faith-based Christian counselor. And the reason why I say that is because I had my first session with a new counselor today. And so the last time I did counseling was back in college. So that was like 7 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
So it was a long time ago. It's a long time ago. And I'm like, you know what? I got some stuff. Like, I need to tune up. I need to just make sure that my heart is clear and that I'm healthy and able to lead well. Since I do lead, you know, it's just important for me to, like, be always pouring from a cup that's overflowing, and not running on empty. So I had that first session, and it was honestly a breath of fresh air, because it's great to have someone to listen to you, but it's also great to have someone who is spirit-filled and someone who knows Scripture. And I didn't know this before before I went into my session, but she's also a pastor's wife. So that was really helpful to know, like, oh, she probably knows, like, some of the burdens that I have to deal with as a pastor's wife. And she, like, related. This neighborhood is gorgeous. It's, like, distracting. But, yeah, like, she understood that, you know? And it's just great to have somebody who understands you and who's willing to understand you. So I definitely think that Christians need to stop playing around and go ahead and get some counseling and therapy, and that's what I'm doing right now in this season. I'm no longer playing around, but I'm making sure I'm getting counseling and therapy, and there's no shame in that at all. There's nothing to hide. In fact, like, that's something to be proud of, that you when anybody seeks, like, total health and, like, emotional stability, that's a really great thing to do. So that was my experience with my first session.
Yep. I'm happy that you had, like, a good faith-based experience, you know. It's really important.
Yeah. I want to know from you guys, like, have you guys done counseling? If so, what was your experience with it? And did you do a Christian counselor or just like a secular counselor?
Yeah. And if you're watching later on YouTube, like, drop it in the comments.
Yeah, for sure. But just wanted to hop on and share my positive experience and encourage you, like, hey, if you need some help, go get some help. All right, guys, we'll keep prioritizing your health, loving God, and loving others.